Second lead couples. Sometimes they shine just as bright, if not brighter than the leads. We love them, root for them, and squeal over their limited screen time. Sometimes, though, our favorite supporting couples weren't so lucky to have a good ending, leaving us with buckets and buckets of tears. So let's recount some couples that we shipped so hard, and yet ended so badly, we can't help but wish for them to get better endings. Number 1. Gu Dongmei and Kudo Hina, Mr. Sunshine. For a drama that started out with the words gun, glory, and sad ending, it is pretty obvious how things will end in our favorite Mr. Sunshine. Like most historical series that took place in the heart of war, Mr. Sunshine was among our picks for the most tragic series of all time. And for a good reason. To start with, out of our 5 main characters, 4 died in the end. And with them, 3 failed love stories. But we are not talking about the tragic main love triangle today. So let's turn our heads to the unrequited love between the second female lead Kudo Hina and second male lead Gu Dongmei. While the series showed us more of Dongmei's affection towards the female lead Ashin, we can't really deny the chemistry he had with Hina. His scenes with her had always been tender, delicate, and borderline flirtatious, leaving us in pain and squealing innerly at the same time. Dongmei also constantly held Hina's hand, softly caressed her, and called her beautiful. They were equals in every sense, as Hina had been in the same place as Dongmei, willing to be just as bad, and ready to do just as terrible things. In a sense, Dongmei's feelings for Aishin had always been an ideal, a longing, something unattainable and hopeless. Meanwhile, Hina had been Dongmei's comrade, a close friend and a possibility, his partner in crime and soulmate even. She had loved Dongmei for himself, and Dongmei could have loved her back, but this realization came too late, and Hina was already dying. Such an ending to the couple may have fit right into the series' theme, but still, it left us with so many regrets and could-bes that we can't help but wish for something better. Number 2. Gu Seung-jun and So-dan, Crash Landing on You. Crash Landing on You had been quite the remarkable series of 2020, with ratings surpassing 20% despite being aired on a paid channel. And this is thanks to its charming humor, lovable characters, relationships, and of course, the overwhelming chemistry between the major couples. The ending and development were also pretty well done, considering the series had tackled a sensitive political matter in South Korea. Personally though, it is hard not to be bitter in the end, considering how things fare for my favorite couple. Introducing So-dan and Gu Seung-jun, our second leads, and also the second couple of the series. They had met on quite ironic terms, with So-dan being a North Korean heiress, and Seung-jun being a South Korean criminal with a miserable childhood. They are the definition of opposite attracted, as So-dan is stone-faced, upright, and serious, while Seung-jun is mischievous and sort of sleazy. And yet, they manage to crack down each other's walls. Seeing the two with each other just never fails to put a smile on our faces. And for once, we even thought that maybe they will be each other's much-deserved happy ending. However, the series' finale left us with no hope. Seung-jun was supposed to leave the country, but he ripped his ticket and rushed out when he heard So-dan was in danger. He managed to save his love, but was shot in return. And thus, the series closed with the couple being separated by life and death. So-dan stayed alone till the very end, and while she's the definition of a slaying independent woman, we can't help but think what if from time to time. Number 3. Muyon and Kim So-hye, 100 Days My Prince. Knowing that a couple had no future doesn't make a sad ending any less sad, and the heart-wrenching love story between Muyon and Kim So-hye is a prime example to this statement. Right off the bat, this relationship is just wrong. So-hye had been married to the Crown Prince Lee Yul, and her father had murdered Muyon's entire household. Meanwhile, Muyon was forced to work under So-hye's father, and had to dirty his hands under command. And it certainly didn't help that So-hye was pregnant with Muyon's child, while married to a crown prince that never touched her. Sure, it may sound a tad too dramatic, but forbidden love is just too delicious of a trope to miss out on. So-hye was never in love with the crown prince, and it was her father that ordered the marriage. Instead, she held true feelings for Muyon, and did her best to protect him in her own might. In return, Muyon never saw her as the crown princess, but just as a girl called So-hye. Still, after all the challenges they went through, finally dropping their responsibilities and past, the two cannot be together till the end. They decided to run away with each other, to just be So-hye and Muyon, but Muyon died to protect his love while on the run. The two still couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel despite everything, and seeing Sohye left alone in mourning, we cannot help but feel sorrowful for them. Number 4. Kim Mujin in Do heisu, Flower of Evil. For a crime thriller series, Flower of Evil actually nailed the romance aspect, from the main couple to the supporting one. That doesn't mean that they had a happy ending though, which is the case for Kim Mujin in Do heisu. As daughter of a serial killer and older sister of a murder suspect, it's safe to say that heisu led a hard life. She used to be the star of the school with a sunshine personality, but life had dragged her down and turned her into a tired and wry person. Heisu and Mujin were once a couple in high school, before Mujin left his love over her father's accusations. He regretted it though, and 18 years later, he vowed to support her no matter what occurred. However, Heisu is now too tired for love, and her sequence when she broke down, listed off her flaws, and called herself broken, just totally trampled on our hearts. Still, Mujin relented. He wanted to know the Heisu of now, and offered his presence instead of forcing his feelings on her. In the end though, Heisu admitted to being the one that killed the village foreman out of self-defense, and went to prison as retribution for her crime. After being released, she left to start a new life, leaving behind Mujin despite still having feelings for him. It was a logical ending, and perhaps it's best that Heisu left to heal. Still, there's this lingering feeling of regret, and their love story did deserve a better ending. Finally, we are reaching the end of the list. But before we dive into our final regrettable second couple, here are some that are no less regrettable. Reaper and Sunny, Goblin, Wang-un and Sunduk, Moon Lovers, Dana and Yonghwa, Run On, Sungmu and Jisoo, He is Psychometric. And last but not least, our final entry, Sungchan and Cindy, The Producers. When IU and Kim Soo-hyun had a reunion after the hit Dream High, we sort of expected them to end up together in The Producers, which of course did not happen, because they're in this list. Here, IU played Cindy, a famous celebrity who had been in the industry since she was 13 years old. She's called the Ice Princess for her poker face, had no friends, and always had to be alone and endure the hardships of being an idol. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun acted as the newbie PD Baek Sung-chan, who is naive, unable to read faces, and ignorant to others' feelings. He managed to soften Cindy's heart with his honesty though, and had brought secret smiles to her face from time to time. However, the entire series had the two chasing somebody who did not love them. Cindy first admired the seasoned PD Junmo, and developed a crush on Sung-chan. Meanwhile, Sung-chan was blind to her feelings, and instead fell for his senior Tak Ye-jin. It certainly didn't help that Yunmo and Yechin ended up dating, and both of their hearts were broken. Still, there is hope. At the end of the series, we see hints that Sung-chan and Cindy's relationship had somewhat changed. They are still broken-hearted buddies though, so it's fair to demand a clearer future and just possibly a happier ending for them. So what are your thoughts about these second lead couples? Do you think they deserve better endings? Do you have other couples that you think deserve better? Just comment down below to let us know. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!